Okay, forgive me if it's noisy. There's somebody doing something over here. But the point is this. Let's say there's 30 people and they get together. And 30 men and women of high character and integrity. And they create a God. And that they pull like all these things from... When I say create a God, create a concept which somebody might perceive to be, greater than oneself, the concept. So they pull all these different concepts from, things that are based in morality and ethics, and then create this deity. So they have a guy Steve, and he's at work, and Steve's intelligent. Steve has a great wife, Melissa, and 2 kids. Steve asked his wife one day, "Hey, am I being good as a man?" His wife says, "Yes, you're great with the kids. You're great with me. Everyone, at your work. Whenever I've spoken to them, they love you." But that's not good enough for Steve because he thinks that she's just doing what a wife does. Just kind of telling him these things to build him up, but not really thinking about it. Not that, but some people do that. Like, some people just are kind in relationships who don't really think, like, what's the substance there? Is there actually substance, or are you just saying this because you're married to someone and, you're just kind of saying it to say, just kind of like build someone up and not really thinking about it. So I'm not saying Melissa's an idiot, is what I'm getting at. She might just be saying that, just kind of like going through some of the regular stuff that people in relationships do. Anyway, so then Steve goes to his friend, Steve's friend Hank. Hank works at the same place. Hank has a better house, better car. His kids are more intelligent. Steve says, "Hank, my good friend, a good man." Hank says, "Yes, you are. You're great. Everyone loves you at work." But then Steve thinks, wait, Hank has better things in life than I do. So Hank's just saying that because, a lot of guys think they're the alpha or, whatever the hell. So he might feel like somebody's trying to compare. So, Steve kind of gets a little angsty and, feels off about it. That's not, like, his friend's opinion is not good enough for him. So he finds out about this concept that these 30 people created. This concept which is, this greater than oneself. And he goes and he like, Steve's the microcosm, let's say. And he has dark parts in him, hence asking questions. His parts he hasn't illuminated. So he finds this thing with these 30 people of, high moral and ethical standing created, and he bounces his light, he shines his light onto this macrocosm, this thing these people created, and the macrocosm reflects light back and then illuminates parts within him of his own darkness, his own shadow. Because the stories that the concept represents, the 30 created, is bound within morals and ethics, and that's what he's looking for, something beyond what his friends, his spouse, other humans, which he knows have faults because they're human. Something beyond that, the ineffable. What is the ineffable? The universe, the God, the goddess. What do these things mean? These archetypal things. What do they represent? These concepts that we don't have answers to. And he's kind of looking for something more than just somebody's friendly opinion. So when he shines his light on this thing, it shows him the darkness within him and how he can bring those things into light and then better his life. So that's the value of certain concepts like that, and why those things are eternal, why those the myths, the legends, the logos, the stories, the spiritual practices, the religions, why a lot of people say, "Oh, it's 2024, why haven't those things gone away yet?" Well, there are advancements in things. We put our archetypes within our most current technologies. We literally put our archetypes in those things and then utilize those things. Look at Artemis. We put Artemis, the goddess, on a rocket, the spaceship to fly up into the space. That's how much we value those things, those archetypes. So with that said, so then he let's say he's going to talk to his wife. Steve's going to talk to his wife, and he says, his wife snaps at him when he gets mad. They get in an argument. And he thinks for a second, like, what would this thing that these 30 people created do? This obelisk, this monolith, this concept of something greater than myself. What would that thing do? What would that represented? That conglomeration of morals and ethics and certain things. What would that thing do? And it stays his tongue. He doesn't say something. He doesn't have an outburst. And then, one day he gets upset at his kids, and his kids are thrashing around and wanting candy, and he's trying to give him an apple or a banana and saying it's better for you or something. His wife's, gone. He's having like this, fatherly sort of meltdown. He needs, like, his companion there to help him raise the seed, so to speak. And he thinks, what would this monolith, this obelisk, this concept that is greater than himself, what would that thing do? It's just a concept. But just the concept alone, real or false, creates something that the human can measure itself to. That's greater than measuring yourself to another human, which, some guy says, well, I'm better than my friend, and he gets all egotistical and beats his chest and, acts like this creature, this animal, and then that thing kind of, destroys him, because then he might put his friend out, he might, act rude to his spouse or his kids. He doesn't have something that's greater than the human flesh to measure his self with. Like, what is the measure of a human? The measure of a human, a measure of a man, measure of a woman. What do you compare yourself with? With other people, you'll probably always be let down, or you'll be stuck in some egotistical loop. But if it's something that you perceive to be greater than yourself, that has some sort of, providence which is guiding us, then, that's something that, can actually make you a better individual, a better human being to others, So that's what I think that represents. That's why I think those concepts, like the monolith, the obelisk, they're pointed up, they're upright in their pursuit of, betterment of oneself. And I think that's a good message, symbolism found within certain things. So, if the obelisk or the monolith or whatever, the concept represents something real or false, the concepts which created it, if it's a false thing, like a made up God, like this 30 made this thing up, the concepts which are put into it, though, which helped make it this conglomeration of higher mind, let's say, actually have truth, because there were things which were trusted, when the 30 were, let's say, chosen or decided to make this thing, realized the things which they put into this thing had value within society, things which could actually teach and lead society, push society forward. If the thing was some real deity, then it's still, somebody might, still learn the same lessons. So either way you cut it, it's still something which is kind of eternal, the eternal lesson from it, which pushes society forward. Because what those things represent, why I say I'm not an atheist or a theist, I'm just a free thinker. And that's, for me, it's like, it doesn't matter if I went into a church or a temple or went to the beach or did whatever. If I saw something, a concept that was greater than myself, it doesn't matter the source of that thing, as long as what I'm learning from it is creating a positive change within me. I'll integrate it and hopefully become a better adult. So it's just an idea, just a thought. But I think you see a lot of people nowadays in 2024, and they think certain people should be beyond certain things, but then they're getting caught kind of in this like addicting cycle, a certain, like, comparing themselves to other people online in the real world, and really not having any of that macrocosm to kind of bounce their microcosm off of, compare to measure themselves with. It's like, so it's just an idea. That thing, though, is always going to be there. That concept is always going to be something that you can think about, like, what would this concept do in certain situations? You need that something, that macrocosm, to measure yourself with. And you can find that in so many things. You can find it in, we shine our microcosm into the universe. And we sit there and say, what am I seeing coming back? Is there something that I see coming back on me? We can shine this, in halls of study, in colleges and universities. I'm shining my microcosm in. What is this university going to shine back on me to help me, further my education? So anyway, it's just something that I was thinking about earlier, the value of those things and why those things have lasted so long. Spiritual practices, religion, the advances of science, the things we see with archetypal stuff being manifest or kind of put in, even advanced technologies in 2024. The names we use, the roles we assign certain things, are all very, speaking stories of our want of betterment by seeking things which are, universal, the larger macrocosmic universe, as well as the, inward microcosmic universe, so to speak. So anyway, it's just a thought.